Hey, everyone. We are waiting on one more board member who's actually signing in right now, and then we can start.
And call to order, right?
Yep.
Peter's heart. Okay, great. So tonight we have three members. We have Peter, Matthew, and myself. So that's a quorum. So we can proceed with tonight's meeting. We're going to start with appeal number 21-1906. The township has requested a continuance to June 15th because they just received the recent submission of revised plans by the applicant. The applicant, by way of counsel, Ed Murphy, does not oppose the township's request. So can I get a motion to continue this appeal until June 15th?
Sure. I'll make a motion to continue appeal 21-1906 to the 15th.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no opposed. The motion carries. We will continue that appeal.
And
The next, yes.
if I may note one thing, for the general public, revised plans are posted online on the township website under the zoning hearing board webpage. So if you want to see what the latest plans are for that project, they are available online.
Thank you. So now I'll call appeal number 21-1913, Gregory and Laura Ann Wozniak.
All right, you want to?
Good evening, guys. I'm Ed Murphy. I'm here tonight with Greg Wozniak, who is on your screen, and Justin Donati, our engineer, who's also on our screen.
All right, Bill, can we swear in the witnesses and then I'll mark the exhibits?
Sure. Ed, I'm going to swear the witnesses in.
Good. Greg and Justin, unmute yourselves if you would. Okay, good.
Done.
Greg, could you, okay, Justin, okay. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thanks, Justin. Greg, Greg's last name?
Wozniak.
Wozniak. Thanks, Greg.
All right.
Adam, if you want to enter your exhibits, and then I'll, with the
Yep.
board's permission, provide an executive summary if we could, because I know you're backed up and we got a lot of things to do tonight. So
Sure. So we have the application as A1, site plans as A2, the outline of relief requested, prepared by Ed Murphy as A3, proof of publication B1, B2 is the proof of posting, and B3 notice to the neighbors.
Murphy, you want to begin?
sure, thank you. With your permission, as I've spoken briefly with Adam before, if the board will allow me, I'll do a summary, and then I'll ask Mr. Wozniak and Mr. Gennady to confirm the accuracy of the summary I'm going to provide. Maybe we can be a little more efficient.
Okay.
Good. Greg and his wife Laura, come this August, will have owned the property in question for 22 years. They purchased it in August of 1999. The lot is just shy of 30,000 square feet. It's zoned R1, and it's located in the northwestern corner of the township, and it backs up to a lot of the township preserved open space that resulted from those Reeland subdivisions back in the late 80s and early 90s. The ordinance that was adopted in 1994 created the nonconformity that exists with regard to the lot size, and recognizing that the ordinance in 94 specifically provided that going forward, the dimensions that existed and the area and yard requirements that existed when the lot was created would carry forward, notwithstanding the later adopted ordinance. So that's in my outline. You'll see that what the standards are. What is being sought tonight, as you can see from the application and the plan, is the Wozniaks would like to construct a freestanding garage in an area that is already existing impervious to some degree, and also want to remove and modify their existing pool in the backyard. The net result of all of that is a slight increase in the amount of allowable impervious surface. And as has been typically the case in Lower Makefield in matters of this type, we have anticipated what the board's interest in this application as it pertains to additional impervious would be. And we've already followed up with Jim Majewski. And even though the application says that we're happy to meet to consider additional on-site stormwater management facilities, we've gone the step further and actually did a conceptual design and provided those calculations in support of that design to Jim. So we show on the plan, on Justin's plan, in the rear of the lot, an area for stormwater management. And Justin has already provided the calcs to confirm the adequacy of that area for stormwater management to address the additional impervious that we've highlighted on the plan. So the ordinance allows 21%. We are at 24.5% because Greg and Laura found out that they were 140 square feet over what was allowable originally when Justin did the survey plan. So between adding and deleting all the square footages, we ended up with a net increase of 24.5%, which is 893 square feet. That's the actual real number, even though the percentage seems more dramatic than it is. It's 893 square feet. So we believe that we've addressed the issue that the board typically requests, and glad Jim's on the meeting tonight so he can also comment if he'd like about the additional steps we've taken before the hearing tonight to anticipate the concern and deal with it now. So Jim, did I fairly summarize that?
Yes, the applicant has provided information that determines that they will comply with our stormwater management ordinance and provide stormwater management mitigation that will bring the stormwater, I believe, back to what currently exists.
Right. Greg, first you, is there anything you'd like to add as the homeowner beyond the summary that I provided to the board? And if not, did everything that I summarized, is that true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Like I said, everything's true and correct to the best of my knowledge. And no, I have no further comments. Thank you. And thanks for the consideration of the committee.
Justin, are we good? Anything else you'd like to add to what I said and what Jim commented upon?
No, well summarized, and everything was true and accurate.
Obviously, we're open to any questions any of the board members or Mr. Weiss may have about the nature of the application and where we're at. I should say that Greg and Laura have reached out to the neighbors on either side of them. No one has had any issue with them. We did, Greg and Laura did share the plans, and they're thinking about the plan with them. So, and there's no neighbors in the back because it's all open space.
Okay. Mr. Murphy, what did you provide? Did you just provide calculations to Mr. Majewski, or did you actually did you provide something else?
Justin, you want to comment on what you gave to Mr. Majewski?
Sure. We provided an impervious surface breakdown, which is also supplemented with a stormwater management design, proving that in this case, we have a rain garden being proposed along the back of the property with a 6-inch depth of ponding that complies with all stormwater regulations for the additional impervious.
Okay. Mr. Wozniak, you're agreeable into doing the rain garden?
Yes. And, I think my understanding is, Justin and Ed, that we will work with Mr. Majewski on finalizing that based on your approval.
Correct.
And what does it bring the effective impervious surface down to with the rain garden?
21%. Go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say, It manages the increase in impervious from the current conditions. So 21% is what we bring it back down to, because we're actually taking into a credit the overage that they already were over the allowable.
Okay. And Mr. Majewski, you reviewed what they submitted, and I think you said that it does meet the requirements?
That is correct.
Matt and Peter, do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Is there any public comment?
Well, I was going to see if you guys had questions
I
before.
have no questions.
All right, Peter?
I have no questions. I'm having difficulty seeing the calculations though. Were those in the package?
They were not part of the application, Peter. They were supplied subsequently to the application at Mr. Majewski's request. So Jim has them and Justin probably has them, but they were not part of the application originally.
I think, Peter, any motion that's made would have to include that
Agreed.
those requirements be met, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, do we have any public comment on this appeal?
There's no public comment.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Anything else, Pam?
Huh?
Anything else? Do you want to make a
No,
motion?
I'm just looking for a motion, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve Appeal 21-1913, subject to reducing the proposed impervious to 24.5% to the existing 21% by stormwater management, to be reviewed and approved by township engineer.
I think the existing has to be removed and just to 21%.
Yes, we're going from 20, we're creating the effective on-lot impervious of 21%. That's correct.
Yeah, so effective of 21%.
Right.
Okay.
Excellent.
Like second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, no opposed, so the passes.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
All right, good
Thank you.
night.
Enjoy your evening.
Okay, we will call appeal number 21-1914, Joseph Jennings. Do we have someone on for?
Yep, they should be in here now.
Okay, Mr. Jennings, are you on?
Hi, Chair. This is David Kelleher. We don't have Mr. Jennings in the meeting. He is not dialed in. Would there be somebody else we should have for the meeting, for this agenda, for this appeal?
If I may, I just went through my emails and I got an email on Friday saying they still wanted to work out one more detail and would like this to be continued to the next zoning hearing board meeting on the 15th, which would still be within the 60 days to hold a hearing on this. I apologize for not seeing that earlier.
Where is Jim? So I'll make a motion to continue 21-19-14 to the 15th.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Okay, so the.
Excuse me, Chair.
appeal-
Chair,
Yes.
just so I could let you know, we have 15 people in the waiting room to comment on this. I know we can't have them comment, but if you could kind of explain the process, that would be great to let these folks know, the 15 that are waiting.
Sure, okay. So you let me, is it okay to do it now?
Yes, you can hear them. They're all.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Jennings in appeal number 21-1914 has requested a continuance Because Mr. Majewski, what was his reason?
They're looking to revise the plans and resubmit them prior to the next meeting.
Okay, so they're looking to revise the plans and resubmit them. And so the board, I think this is his first request, correct?
Correct.
Yes, it was continued because unfortunately last meeting we did not have a quorum, so we could not hear his appeal. But the board just moved and was granted Mr. Jennings was granted a continuance. So the hearing will now be held on June 15th. So all those in attendance interested in this appeal or wishing to comment on this appeal, it's being moved to June 15th. Thank you.
And Jim, if any of the request of relief changes, just be in touch with me if they need to re-advertise.
Yes. And also, just for the public's information, when we do get the revised plan, it also will be posted on our zoning hearing board webpage on the township website, lmt.org.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call appeal number 21-1915, Jonathan and Kelly Reese. We have Jonathan and Kelly. I don't think they don't have an attorney, do they? Oh, hi. We need you to put your speaker on and then we're going to have you sworn in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? We're going to have the court reporter swear you in first, okay?
Okay.
Okay, guys, do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And actually, first order of business is we're going to ask our solicitor to mark the exhibits.
All right, we have the application as A1, site plans as A2. There was a type reasons for the variance, that's A3. It's an aerial site photo as A4, and the impervious surface breakdown calculations and stormwater worksheet, which is 2 pages, is collectively marked as A5. B1 is the proof of publication, B2 proof of posting, and B3 notice to the neighbors.
Okay. Kelly, are you going to be telling us what it is you're looking for?
Yes, sure. We're both here. We just have kids in the next room.
Sure.
Okay, so you're just looking for a summary of the application that we already sent, or just a?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us what the relief that you're looking for, why, why it is you're looking for it?
Sure. We are, our goal and our hope is to install a stamped concrete patio. And at the same time that we install a patio, we're going to replace our existing pool decking that is around our pool. So that's about 25 years old. As it stands right now, I believe it is considered pervious because there are rocks underneath, so it's drainable. So when we do this renovation, it's all going to be stamped concrete and thus all impervious. So that would take us from, I believe we're at 17.8% right now. So the proposed construction would take us to 27.8%. We've consulted with our contractor who was on the last meeting. He's not here tonight, but he had dialed in last time to make comment if necessary, but hopefully we can field any questions you might have about drainage that we've talked about with him. He is going to be installing a deco drain as part of the job. So we had sent both in our application and to Jim as well, information about that drainage system, how it works, stormwater management. We had also accounted for every single tree in our backyard, which we're being told aren't as important as the drainage. So I think we have submitted everything that would help the request. And if you have any specific questions, we can answer those too, or try to.
How large is the patio area that you're proposing? 990 square feet, is that?
Yes, let me pull, yes, 990 square feet. That would be the patio, and then the pool deck is 1245.
Could you clarify what the
1255 square
pool deck?
feet.
You said the pool deck is stone now?
It's a very old composite. I don't know if it's Trex or what, but it's an old composite and it's really warped. It's not hardwood. It's some sort of plastic / composite material.
Like a first generation
The
Trex.
deck, I'm sorry. It's a deck off the ground, or it?
It's like 1 inch off the ground. There's a layer of rock underneath it, which is why it's, yes.
So weird. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything like it. I think it's 25 years old. When they installed the pool, when the previous owners installed the pool, this was the original decking.
Okay.
So since it does have the gap to the ground below and has surface that's permeable below it, it's not considered impervious. They want to replace that with the standard concrete decking as you have in most pool installations.
Okay. What was the product you were using for the trench drain?
It's called a deco drain.
And Jim, you reviewed the product?
Yeah, and what they're doing is in conjunction with that, they're doing an infiltration trench too.
Okay.
So that deco drain will combine with that to provide the storage that's required by the ordinance to bring it down to the current impervious surface ratio that's on the site from a stormwater management perspective.
Okay. And you checked the numbers, you're comfortable with them?
Yes.
Okay.
It's bringing the effective impervious surface back down to 17.8%, Jim?
Correct.
Peter, do you have any questions?
And this seems like a very significant increase in impervious area. Have you given consideration to trying to streamline this at all to reduce the amount that's being increased?
So we actually are eliminating certain areas of the layout of the pool deck. It's hard to explain, which is why we had submitted the plans. So you have a visual, hopefully somewhere to look at, but it's a free-form pool. So it's not just a rectangle or a square. There are these different areas that kind of jut off. So we are chopping off some of those. Sorry, oh, there you go. That is, if you, I can't really point or show you, but if you look at the right-hand side of this drawing where the pool outline is, there's a big area. It's like a, 12 foot by 12 foot square. We're chopping that off. There's an entrance area because we're going to be relocating the gate. So we're chopping that up. So we are cutting off some of the surface area.
The problem is that it's, it's like an island right now in the middle of the backyard that you can't really get to. And because
I can walk you back there if that's helpful. I mean, we're sitting right here.
But one of the big problems we have is that it's off the ground a little bit too. We have young children who run around in the backyard, and it's not necessarily the safest.
Yeah, there you go.
In terms of, and especially, I have older parents and things like that. It's not the smoothest surface going from the ground, stepping up to the pool area. It's not really.
Should also add to, when we first moved into this house, we renovated the kitchen. And so where there was once a window is now a door. So it's sort of an unnatural layout in the backyard because we changed it from what it was. So when you step out the back door, there's nothing to step onto but grass and mud. And then you walk 10 feet and then there's a pool deck with a gate, and the pool deck is, 25 years old. So the goal in doing this is to sort of make everything a little bit more streamlined, make it a little bit safer, make sure that it's all the same material so that it's more functional.
Can you explain, there's kind of like a leg that heads off to the left. I think it's like this area here. Can you explain how that lays out to the rest of the patio?
Yeah, so that is just like, that's if you were in our driveway and you opened the gate from our driveway to the backyard. There's just going to be a small landing pad there and then stepping stones from that landing pad to the larger area. So that's not really technically a part of the patio. It's just a landing pad for you to step onto, and then almost like a pathway to the larger patio area.
Right. But it's still included in your 990 square feet, right?
Correct. We wanted to make sure we were including everything that we hoped and planned to do. Because the way the previous owners have it, so they just have pavers, like 2 foot by 2 foot pavers, again, 20 years old, and none of them are level. They're just kind of like thrown in the grass. So this would just be a flat surface to walk onto and a flat pathway to a flat patio.
What's in the patio area now? Is it grass or is it just grass?
It's grass, and then some of those, like I said, just kind of haphazardly laid pavers. So there's like a few of those along the foundation of the house, but that's it.
Is there anybody for public comment on this?
There's no public comment.
I will say we did actually talk to most of our neighbors. They were curious when they got the letter in the mail and they asked questions. And then the people behind us, that would, I guess, be on Ramsey, they walked over and had some questions.
Yeah, I spoke to them. I mean, they were like, we have no problem with it as long as, so I guess the previous owners at one point were draining their pool water into the neighbor's yard behind us and kind of destroyed all of their shrubs, which obviously is not happening now. So that was the only question we got. Every other neighbor we spoke to was fine with it.
Do you get ponding or, you know, a lot of water in your backyard after rain?
No, actually the only area where that does happen, I have just some rock laid down and like a vegetable garden. So that doesn't even happen anymore because I just put some rock on the ground. But no, it's not too bad. We do have a sprinkler system. I included this in the application too. We also consulted with our with CB Irrigation, who does our sprinklers. So if and when we do get approval for this, when the excavation happens for the patio, they're going to wrap the plumbing underneath where we're going to lay the patio so that in the event of some sort of pipe burst or something like that, the sprinklers will be protected as well.
It's like a sleeve they set over the pipes.
Barbara, the township's not participating in this, are they?
Yeah, we are not.
Okay. Do you have any more questions, Matt or Peter?
We're good. Peter, do you have any?
Good.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
Well, we have public comment on this or none?
No, she said no, there's no public comment.
Got it.
I did ask.
Sorry, I missed that.
That's okay. Honestly.
Make a motion to approve appeal number 21-1915, subject to township review and approval of the stormwater management, with the reduction to an effective impervious rate of 18%.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody, it's unanimously approved. There were no nays, so it's passed.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
guys.
welcome.
Lady.
Okay, on to the next one. Appeal number 21-1916. Paul Lupinacci and Elizabeth Luciano. I pronounced that correctly. I hope I did.
Hello, we're with you.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, sorry. I'm looking at so many screens.
Yeah.
Okay, Elizabeth Luciano, did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did.
And Paul Lupinacci, did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did. That's a tough one.
Okay. I believe the township is participating in this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I need two things before we start. I need Adam to mark the exhibits, and then we'll have to have you both sworn in, okay? So why don't we have Adam do the exhibits first?
Sure, we have the application as A1, the site plan as A2, proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, the notice to the neighbors.
Okay, and now we're gonna have our court reporter swear you both in.
I, Paul and Elizabeth, do you solemnly swear testimony about the gift will be the truth, so help you God?
We do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what you're looking to do?
We'd like to build install a privacy fence across the back of our property that abuts Creamery Road. Right now, there are easements on both sides of the property, a 10-foot easement and a 15-foot easement from the property line. We'd like to extend it as, up to the property line or within a foot so we could get more coverage from a busy road and the noise it generates. And have, on the left side, have it come down about 12 feet, and on the right side, about 16 feet.
And I believe in your application said that you are willing, because it's an easement, you are willing to, at your own expense, if it needs to be removed for access, you're willing to do that at your own expense.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I am going to turn it over to the township first before our members, and ask Ms. Kirk if she has any questions.
I do, if you don't mind. Mr. Lupinacci, the 12 feet that's going to come along the left side of the property, that's going to sit within the drainage easement, correct?
Yes.
And part of the fence along the rear will encroach into the drainage easement as well.
Correct.
What is there on that side of the property that is the drainage easement?
What is there? I mean, as far as shrubs or anything?
Is there a swale? Are there stones? Is it just sloped in such a way for the water to run?
It's flat. It was, right now there's Pachysandra, bed of Pachysandra there in grass. There's a little bit further down, there's a cherry tree. But that's about it.
So there's no piping or structures or anything that you can see?
Well, there's no.
Okay. Now, for the sanitary sewer easement, that runs along the right side of the property, correct?
Correct.
That's right.
Have you pulled any documents to determine exactly what that sanitary sewer easement is for?
No, but our neighbors have told us there is a pipe that probably runs, into the street, into Ash Lane. There is a manhole cover down there. And they kind of figured maybe there's a pipe running across our property to Creamery Road.
All right. Now, the question I have is, how far into that sewer easement area is the section of the fence going to be?
Well, if we go, let's say, to a foot of the property line, then it would be, let's say, 14 feet.
So if I'm at your property line on the right side,
Yeah.
your fence is going to be set back 14 feet from the property line?
Yes. I mean, if we couldn't build in the easement, we would have to come in that 15 feet from the property line on the right side and 10 feet on the left side.
Would you be willing to do? Well, so here's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
The township is currently under an agreement to sell the sanitary sewer system.
Mm-hmm.
And that would include
transferring ownership of any sanitary sewer easements to the new buyer, which may ultimately result in you being told by the new owner of the sanitary sewer system to remove that fence.
Okay.
So right now, the township owns that sanitary sewer easement. And obviously, as long as you agree to conditions of removing the fence at your cost and risk, at your cost and expense, and not digging down to the point where posts will be so far down that it could rupture the sanitary sewer pipe. Things of that nature are one thing. But if the system is sold, the new owner may just come across and say, hey, we own it now. You got to move that fence.
Understood. I guess my question is, would there be a reason why they would do that?
Because they own it.
But yeah, I mean, but what would the reason be other than they own it?
It's to have unfettered access to those pipes if they have to do any repairs, upgrades, maintenance.
Okay. I mean, I understand that. I mean, we'd be willing to, if that was ever necessary, you know, years down the road, we'd be willing to, you know, remove that section of the fence, have them do the repairs or whatever they need to do, and then with their approval, you know, put it back up.
Assuming that you are aware, if it gets sold, they may not approve
True.
in that area at all.
No, what? I understand that.
And how far down do you think you're going to be digging for the footers for the fence?
Our fence guy said 3 feet.
And is your fence guy going to check with the township to see how far down that sanitary sewer pipe is laid?
He will.
He would, yeah.
And I would just ask the board if they were inclined to grant this request, that there be some sort of condition imposed, that there has to be a verification of the depth of the sanitary sewer pipe before any construction can begin. And I would ask for some sort of notice as part of the decision or disclaimer that there is a possibility, if that easement is sold or transferred to another owner, that the property owners are at risk of having to remove that fence through no fault of the township.
One more item, Barbara, if I may. The storm sewer easement or drainage easement, I believe there's a pipe that runs from Ash Lane out to Creamery Road.
So that contains a pipe as well, Mr. Majewski?
Yes, and it would be my recommendation that if the zoning hearing board were inclined to grant a variance for that pipe in the drainage easement, that be located several feet off the pipe so that it doesn't interfere with the pipe. Typically, a storm sewer pipe is at a shallower depth than a sanitary sewer line. So my concern would be that it not be placed at the property line, but be moved over several feet.
How many feet, Mr. Majewski, would you request?
3 feet.
And I would ask that the board make note of that as well.
Before opening up to public comment, I want to ask Matt and Peter if they have any questions for the property owner.
Tim, is a markout required?
Yes.
Okay, so this information could be provided at the time of the markout?
Correct.
Right, and then is the practice of the town to, you know, for you or one of the inspectors to go out and confirm this in the field, or?
For the sanitary sewer line, our sewer department will go out there. They will mark out where the line is. We will confirm the depth because we do have as-built information that has the depth of that sewer line that we can provide to the applicants. For the drainage system, we'll also mark out that line too and provide them with that depth, which typically is shallower, so 3 feet might even poke into the line, and that's why I requested that it be moved a few feet off.
Is this something that could be worked out as part of the permit? I'm just looking for ways to streamline this rather than back and forth and back and forth. If at the time of their permit, there's an understood mark out, will require that the town reviews it with the applicant and make adjustments in the field based on the mark out. Does that work for everybody? And that way the applicants, they can look at what's going on and have input into where the fence is located, as well as the township can have input on what their concerns are with the location over the top of the pipe.
You're fading out a little bit. I just want to make sure that you're by the, just so the applicants understand what you're saying. Do you guys understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I have no further questions.
My only question here is more of a confirmation on what's been said so far, but that this drainage easement is not a surface drainage easement, so we don't need to worry about clearance underneath the fence and gaps within the fence to allow water to flow through.
Correct.
Correct.
Any public comment, or I don't have any more questions.
I just, Peter, do you have any more questions? Or
That was my only question. I think everything else has been brought up already.
Okay. All right. Any public comment on this?
Yes, we have one person for public comment. I'll bring them in now.
Okay.
They are in the room now with us.
Okay. And who do we have for public comment?
That would be me. I'm one of the neighbors of Elizabeth and Paul.
Okay, hold on. We're going to need your name and we're going to need to have you sworn in. Okay.
My name is William Gaboda.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Gaboda.
Okay, and we're going to have you sworn in now.
Sure.
Mr. Gaboda, you solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your public comment?
My public comment is that Liz and Paul have done their homework on this, and they deserve their privacy, and they are excellent neighbors, and I support it fully. That's it.
Great. Thank you. All right. Somebody want to make a motion on this?
You want me to appear?
Sure.
All right. Make a motion to approve appeal 21-1916 let me see, per markout in the field by the township and subsequent adjustment if needed by the township and or the applicant. The applicant is also notified that they may at their own expense be required to remove the fence as installed, and that all costs associated with the removal are at the owner's expense.
Jim, does that cover everything, including the 3-foot change from the drainage?
Barbara,
I didn't hear you. Jim's frozen.
I think it needs to be more explicit. I think it would need to be that the fence be located a minimum of 3 foot off the verified location of the storm pipe.
Correct.
And the mark out language includes the condition that it has to be verification of and notice of the sanitary pipe. So we kind of have
anything else, Barbara, that should be in the motion?
No, I would presume the mark out would include verification of the depth of both pipes, correct? Mr. Majewski?
Yes.
It's a three-part motion made by all three of us. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous with several conditions, but it's granted.
Thank you very much.
We really.
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
One question for you, to make sure we follow all your instructions, who do we work with the town?
That would be my department.
Mr. Majewski's, okay,
Okay, great.
great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
And for the board, I am not involved in any other applications, so unless you need me, I would like to be dismissed.
You're dismissed.
For good behavior.
Have a good night. Okay, we have one last appeal number, I think just one. Yep. 21-1917, James and Shannon Scott. And we have James Scott.
Yes,
Okay. Is it just you testifying tonight?
correct.
Okay. I'm going to ask Adam to mark the exhibits and then I'll have you sworn in, okay? Okay.
We have the application as A1, site plan as A2, the impervious surface calculation as A3, B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3 is the notice to the neighbors.
Mr. Scott, we're going to have you sworn in now.
Jim, do you solemnly swear the testimony you have to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Scott, why don't you tell the board what you're looking to do?
Sure. So simply put, we plan to remove an existing concrete slab patio, which is in poor condition. Just that the concrete has heaved over time with some trip hazards. When we do that, we would like to expand it by maximum of about, I believe, about 700 feet of new patio. Patio would remain in the same place in our property as the old, just slightly larger. So as part of that work, and having kind of taken notes from some of the previous applicants in past meetings, we went ahead, we prepared the stormwater management for the impervious surface calculations. So we're proposing to do a infiltration trench to capture 100% of that increase in coverage.
Okay, and have you already submitted these plans to Mr. Majewski, to the township?
I have. That was in my submission pack.
That's what I thought. I read that. And Mr. Majewski, have you reviewed those?
Yes, I have, and the application not only meets our requirements, but they propose some additional stuff above and beyond the infiltration trench. They're proposing some trees to add some additional mitigation above and beyond what would be captured by the infiltration trench, which will bring everything back down below what is currently existing.
Okay, so what's existing now is 22.84%, right? What will the effective rate be with the proposed water management design?
This would be approximately 26.49.
Right.
I'm sorry, with the reduction.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a net decrease. I apologize, I didn't prepare my calculations expecting that question, but it will be a net decrease.
Jim, do you know offhand or what the effective rate would be with his proposals?
It'll take me a minute to figure that out.
All right. Well, while he's figuring that out, how about Matt and Peter? Do you guys have any questions?
Just looking at the layout of your plan here, it looks like it's not entirely clear that, but are you collecting all the increased impervious area at the stormwater control or the base of the below grade retention there?
That's correct. So the stormwater infiltration trench is would be located at the natural low point in the property. So just the natural slope of the property will take it.
I guess my other question is, and that is taking care of 100% of the increased impervious area, just the below grade retention, and then you're doing the trees as above and beyond that?
Yeah, correct. My understanding was the board preferred the trench as opposed to reliance on plantings. So the plantings I made note of, we're going to do it anyway. But with the speaking with the contractor with the heavy equipment out, doing an extra couple feet in dimensioning to the trench to oversize it was really nominal cost.
No, we're happy to see the trees too. It's just that it's a lot easier to guarantee that the trench is in place and that the next person.
Understood. So to answer your question, we're doing both.
Yep.
So the worksheet provided by the township would require 125 cubic feet in the trench plus the plantings plus the number of trees preserved would be about 188 feet. So we're over by almost 50%.
Matt, do you have any questions?
I think it's only confirmation that there was a appeal granted for the setbacks to the property, which has nothing to do with zoning, which has nothing to do with the stormwater. But
What setback is that, Matt?
it appears to be a front and a left front yard setback, left yard setback on his plan. I don't know if that's accurate. It's
existing conditions that aren't compliant.
they're existing. It's already there.
Yeah, I don't have that information yet.
Okay, that's fine. I have no questions.
Jim, did you have the effective rate with his proposed plans?
In a second.
Okay.
That would be 22.5%.
Well, if there's no questions, then, any public comment?
There is no public comment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Can't believe we're getting through 8 or 5 appeals. Does somebody want to make a motion in this appeal?
Jim, quick question here, Jim. That 22.5% is just the below grade only, correct? So the trees are taking it lower than that.
That is correct.
I'll make a motion to approve 21-1917, subject to reducing the proposed impervious of 26.49% to 22.5%, an effective rate of 22.5%, subject to town engineer review and approval.
You want a second, Peter?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Your appeal is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any old business. Does anyone else have any old business, Adam? Or Jim?
We have 2 items on the next agenda. Is there more?
On June 15th, you mean?
Yeah. Yep. We backed it up last time, so I'm just curious if we're still backed up or if we are catching up.
I believe there's one more, if not two, coming up on that date.
Okay.
Peter, you are not available June 15th, right?
I'm not available. I'll be traveling on vacation at that point.
Okay. So hopefully Tony will be back, and hopefully we may or may not have a new member, because if Peter's not here and Tony's not here, we will not have a quorum. So
We're gonna have to drag Tony no matter what, you know?
Yeah.
We can go visit him. We'll bring it to him.
Yeah, we'll bring the meeting to him.
Well, it's Zoom. We already are bringing it to him.
Yeah.
All he has to do is turn his computer on and, you know, but no, we hope he's recovering well and he's doing well. So, so with that, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Can I make the motion to adjourn the meeting?
No, motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, great. Okay. Aye. Peter? Aye. All right.
Said aye, yep.
We did that in 1 hour and 2 minutes.